Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion Plays the Binding of Isaac Afterbirth. Plus, I'm feeling good. You know, it's going to take us at least a couple of weeks to get... I mean, at least until we get out of the single digits, if we're lucky enough to do so. NLVYP71Z, until the narrative stops being that this is like, you know, atonement for the previous loss of the streak. But every day, we get a little bit closer to being free of the previous shackles of that, I don't want to call it a mistake because it was a tough run, but you know what I mean. that event. Oh, sure. And if anything, I really think that having won on some difficult runs already, well, really one difficult run, because the first win was Mom's Knife Brimstone. Even though our damage stat was bad, I'm not going to be like, oh, that was a tough one. But having won, particularly on a difficult one yesterday, I'm feeling good, I'm feeling energized, I'm feeling ready to go. I'm hip, I'm with it. Tucka, 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 tucka. Just do not wish to see Champion Ragman. You probably don't need me to tell you this. It's not an ideal room for us here. But I am committed to not getting yeeted. I can't believe it. I don't believe it. I thought for sure we were getting yeeted. Why did you say you were committed to not getting yeeted? Because I didn't, you know, I would have preferred not to have died. I was really trying my best to live there. But oh my god. Oh my god. That was something. That was maybe actually tougher than Champion Ragman. I do need to point out, like, you know, that those guys do one full heart with every single hit because they're champions, I think. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad, but making it through that feels good. Like I said, I'm here. We're not throwing any runs away, because I realize it's no longer about getting that highest streak number. If you want to succeed, it's about getting that win rate as high as possible. I know that sounds... I mean, the one is causative for the other, but rather than being like, oh, we just lost on, you know, win 50 or whatever it was, personally, I don't care until it hits quadruple digits. Instead of doing that, I'm like, okay, and now we can, you know, yeet a couple of runs because it doesn't really matter. I'm like, no. We got to keep our win rate high and hold ourselves to the same standard on win 3 that we do on, you know, win 300, which is coming. It's coming right now. Anyway, today is it's a Thursday. Thursday's always a little busy. A little busy on Thursdays, but honestly, I think I mentioned this last Thursday as well, but now that the co-op streams Cade and I have been doing have become Clubhouse games on the Nintendo Switch, I honestly feel like I get 3 hours more rest on Thursdays because of the fact that Clubhouse is just such a fun time. Such a good experience. I have been playing some more of the games in there. I should probably do a Clubhouse games tier list. And it might surprise you. Where did that come from? I'm happy with it, but where did it come from and where did it go? It might surprise you. I feel like and you know what? This will be a great bit. In terms of the classic board games, and I'm not... Oh my god, so lucky, dude. I'm not talking about... you know, Monopoly, you know? I'm talking about chess, checkers, Pachisi, backgammon, Chinese checkers, Mancala, probably some other ones. I mean, I'll just think about what's in the game. What are the greatest games? What's an S-tier classic board game? Chess. I really like... I've had a complicated relationship with the game of chess. Just because I basically OD'd on it as a middle school and high school student. For anybody not familiar, I'm going to try. I'm willing to put 2 cents into it just to see if we could reroll to get a Spirit Heart. But for anybody not familiar, in maybe like 7th to 10th grades, I read a lot of chess strategy books. I played... Oh my god, dude, that's so good. I played a lot of online chess. I played at a local chess club once a week for like 4 or 5 hours a week. I played in in-person tournaments. I traveled around. I not just like regional stuff, but you know, like you win like the city tournament for your age group, and then you go to Toronto and you play in the provincial tournament for your age group and get crapped on by kids that are actually going on to like maybe pursue it as a career or at least a lucrative hobby. Well, not really lucrative, but you get the idea. So I was never like that's fine. I was never like a super great chess player, but I did I finished in the money a couple of times, usually for like the under X ELO division, like hey, for the under 1700 division, you had the highest score, so you get like $40 or something, and in the youth division. So, and in order to do that, I studied and practiced and did a lot. So by the time like I was done with chess, I was kind of done with chess, and I basically never wanted to play it again. Although I will admit, it is a lot of fun, and I've done this in the past. It is a lot of fun when there's like a chessboard around and people don't know that you've played a lot of it, and sometimes people will challenge you and they'll be like, I hope you're ready because I'm pretty good, and then you just wipe them. And then you tell them the same thing I just told you. But anyway, hold on, we got an Algiz, we got an Emperor. I'm gonna Emperor out of here. We may not need the Algiz. This run has kind of like come together in a big way already, which is nice after that first floor was a little bit spotty, / a lot of bit spotty. But I really think that chess is one of the best designed games I can think of. To learn the rules of it maybe takes you like, less than an hour, which is pretty expedited compared to a lot of board games I've experienced in my life. There's really only like 7 pieces or something you gotta learn how to move. You got the pawns, 2 rooks, 2 knights, 2 bishops, a king, and a queen. It's not a whole lot. You don't have to learn like en passant. You might want to learn castling. If you know that, you can play. You can play and you understand the principles of the game. Now, learning the strategy of chess could take a lifetime. And it really is, it's endlessly replayable. The only limiting factor is your own patience and desire, essentially, which is why I kind of washed out. But I think chess has got to be considered an S-tier game. Checkers, let's call that a B-tier game. I don't know. Admittedly, I'm kind of ignorant. I don't know if there are other if there's checkers strategy. Obviously, I would not expect it. We should take this first. That's fine. We wouldn't expect it to be on the level of chess, because I don't know if there's chess grandmasters out there. Sorry, checkers grandmasters out there. Maybe there are, and I'm being ignorant. By the way, that was a misplaced bomb. We should think about that. Start doing the little things right again, even though this run's looking good. It's very nice too. That's very nice too. And take me out of here. But I think checkers, the rules couldn't be easier, And, if the power goes out, maybe you just want something where you're just playing and you're not really thinking about it too much. It's a nice little casual game, right? I'm going to be honest, backgammon, I kind of think is garbage. I apologize, I know backgammon is well liked. Admittedly, I just learned the rules like 3 days ago. I guess... So here's the thing, it's a game of strategy and a game of luck. If you don't know, backgammon is a game where you roll dice and move pieces based on the number or the value of the dice roll, and your goal is to get all your pieces to the end, but there is some strategy involved. It's not merely like, roll and move. It's not Ludo, let's put it that way, which is like an F-tier game to the extreme. But also kind of hilarious in how bad it is. Sorry, not sorry. Nobody says that anymore. Nobody says sorry, not sorry anymore. I think we verped a question mark pill. But I think I underrate backgammon, perhaps. But you know what I will tell you, a game I quite like, actually, is dominoes. I was surprised. I've never played dominoes before in my life, except to stack them up. Or like make like a cool little domino topple situation. But I had never played dominoes. I had to learn the rules. Basically, the rules of dominoes are very simple. You have to place a domino from your hand so that it can actually... Basically, it has to match up with one of the terminals. So if somebody lays down like a blank 5 domino, you can lay down... Let's assume that's move 1. You can lay down a 5 anything on the one side. You can lay down a blank anything on the one side. And your goal is to make things that are multiples of 5. So if you can make the terminals sum to 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, you know, then you get the number of points that you summed it to. I don't know how much strategy is involved in dominoes, but just in terms of like the basic mechanics, I think it's a cool game. I'm down with that. But you know what's a real S-tier game in Clubhouse games? You know where I'm going with this. Nobody saw this phase coming in 2020, myself included. Riichi Mahjong. Dude, I had no idea. That game is complicated. Let me get you started off on the right foot. Complicated. And I'm not even going to bother explaining the rule set. But at the same time, unbelievably deep. Now, it is like one of those games where both luck and strategy play a role. The way I would describe Riichi Mahjong is that, first off, it's going to take you a couple days to learn how to even do anything that you want to do. But secondarily, it's a game of, like, heavy probabilistic analysis. Now, you can have the best probabilistic analysis of all time and still suck due to bad luck. You know, or due to your opponents playing stuff that you would rather they didn't play. But it's really, I see it as, let's not call it like super poker, because I think that you know, people who are really into poker, they see the game on a level that I don't. You know, when you ever play poker against like a real shark, or against or maybe you are the shark yourself. Sometimes there's... on the probabilistic analysis of poker, I was always very good at, you know? I was always very good at approximating my odds of getting the hand I wanted based on the information that was available to me. What I was very bad at was betting strategy. Because literally my whole game was just like, if I've got nothing, I fold. If I've got something, raise until everybody else folds, and then go, how did they know I had something? I don't have the, or at least when I was younger, I didn't really have the stomach for poker. But you ever play against a shark, they're like, oh yeah, I knew you were bluffing because, you know, 17 hands ago, I raised you, and then you scratched your nose, and then you said, I'll call. And then when you scratched your nose this time, I knew that you had something decent, which is how I was able to slow play you because I had pocket aces, which you never could have expected. That's scary to me. I don't want to play against that person. I exclusively want to play poker against people who are like me and treat poker as kind of like a lottery. They're like, hey, my numbers came up. Give me your chips. That's where I'm at. But Riichi Mahjong is a great game, dude. Is it complicated? Yeah. And if someone is watching this and they're like, actually it's quite simple. No, it's not. Like, I'm just... It is maybe not as complex as it may originally appear when it appears to be completely, you know, unordered and chaotic. But it's complicated. Again, you know, let's compare it to checkers. Checkers has like 2 rules. Riichi Mahjong has like 40 valid results that can come to pass, each with their own point values. And, oh, how long is the game? Well, that's a difficult question because it is minimum 4 turns, but every time the dealer wins a hand, then it stays on that auspicious wind for... Anyway, but I'm not going to try to, like, unsell you on it because I think the game is actually... It's a very well-designed game. You're going to laugh, and I say this all the time, which is how I know you're going to laugh. But the other game that I always consider one of the best designed games of all time is Magic the Gathering. I really feel, and that, again, extremely complicated. Like, if you ever play someone in Magic and you lay down a card and they don't have to read it, you might as well just resign. Especially if you're playing an older format. If they're like, oh yes, I'm familiar with this card, I'm like, I concede, and I'm gonna go buy a snack while I wait for the next round to start. That was always the worst part of going to Magic events for me, is round 1 being paired with a random opponent who 90% of the time was better and more knowledgeable than me. And then round 2, getting paired with someone who lost in round 1, but also might be pretty good. By the time we hit like round 3, that's where I started playing like people, you know, like small children and people that didn't even sleeve their cards, or they bought like a pre-made deck or something like that, or, you know, boyfriends who were like, you know, when we confided in each other, we were like, I'm just here because it was like my girlfriend or wife is really into Magic, and like I like to play and I support her, but at the same time I'm kind of trash and she's good. So, well, welcome to the 03 bracket. And sometimes you get into the 04s, and it's just like you don't even really care what's happening in the game. You're just throwing cards at each other going like, hey, you know, did you see the Canucks game last night? And they're like, no. And I'm like, oh, right. I get it. You see? Because I'm making a joke that if you play Magic, you can't be into sports. Because I'm from the 1800s. Okay, let's hold myself accountable there. I do think that Magic is a fantastic game, though. Have I already been in here? I think I have, and I think that was a waste of my time right there. But this run is like, it's in a beautiful spot. It's like that Guy Barato song. What a beautiful spot, what a beautiful spot. You know that one? It's a beautiful spot. It's a, not too many people here were reading Pitchfork Media in 2007, huh? It was one of Pitchfork Media's top 100 best songs of 2007. You guys ever think that, well, let me rephrase this. Hold on. I would like some HP. Why not? You guys ever think that your musical tastes and preferences evolve until the day that you inevitably get frozen in one time in your life? I think that's kind of where I'm at. When I was, I mean, I didn't start listening to music of my own volition, by which I mean, like, I exclusively listened to, like, what my parents listened to, until I was, like, 11, maybe? So from like 11 till, let's say 21, I was constantly like new stuff. And you're not going to believe me, I got some cool stuff. I wouldn't say I was a cool guy, but I knew what the cool guys listened to. And I'm not talking about the cool guys who were listening to LMFAO. I'm talking about the cool guys who are like, Apologies to the Queen Mary is very good, but does anybody think that Expo 86 might actually be Wolf Parade's understated masterpiece? Then, like, I just kind of stopped. And forever, I'm stuck in this, like, let's say, like, 2003 to 2012 era of just, like, that's where I'm at. You might say no, but I would also like you to consider your age when you say no. If you're like 20, I don't know if you had it happen yet. If you're like, I feel like a lot of people that are my age, they're in their early 30s, are like, yeah, you got me. I pretty much only listen to the same pop punk that I listened to in high school. I only listen to like Blink-182, MCR, and Yellow Card. That's my oeuvre. I think it gets considered a bad thing from time to time. I think most people listening to this would be like, that sounds kind of sad. And, you know, I can definitely, it hasn't been that long, I could put myself in those shoes to think that that's bad, but it doesn't really matter here. All I would say is that, you know, you like what you like. If you find music you like and you enjoy it as much as you did, or even more than you did, you know, the first time you heard it, what's the harm in just listening to that for a long time instead of listening to new stuff? It's not like, let me rephrase. So what I was going to say is, it's not like it's important, and I am not going to take any of that. I just literally, like, don't want to spend spirit hearts and throw this run into question. It's not like you're going to miss something critical. The worst thing you're going to miss is a great album, which you can be okay with missing. It's not like it's You know, oh, you didn't listen to Pimp a Butterfly? 6 months in the slammer. And you just, I think the older you get distracted. You know, people may disagree with this, and I do need to recognize that I come from a position where I had, like, a really, really easy childhood. And I think a lot of people are gonna resonate with this. A lot of people aren't, but, you know, a lot of people are. I basically, like, in high school, I went to school, came home, did my homework, and played video games. That's essentially what my high school life was like. Occasionally... That's okay. I'm gonna stick with what we got. Occasionally, on the weekends, might go spend an afternoon, maybe me, Malf, and a couple other mutual friends of ours might hang out together. But what did hang out together mean? I don't know. We might, like, watch one of us play an Xbox 360 game for a bit, and then, like, go to Walmart. And on the way back from Walmart, you know, stop by our city's one Wendy's, get some spicy chicken sandwiches, and then watch out the window while our friend who drove us there did donuts in the Wendy's parking lot in the snow. I know what you're thinking. You're like, man, I didn't know NL grew up in backyard wrestling territory. I kind of grew up in backyard wrestling territory, I would say. Which is to say, I never witnessed any backyard wrestling, but in 9th grade, my school did have a fight club. And I was not part of it, because, I mean, you can frame it however you want. I was either too smart or too cowardly, or maybe a little combination of both. But every lunch hour, kids would go out behind the baseball diamond close to our school and just start beating on each other. For reasons that to this day I can't fathom. But what I mean to say by all this is, like, I was bored. I had nothing to do, so I was like, you know what? Let's craft an identity through, like, the music that I like to listen to. As I got older, you know, you got other priorities. Things take precedent, and you're like, you know what? Maybe for the rest of my life I could just listen to "If I Could Find You Now, Things Would Get Better." That was 4.99 seconds. DMCA is not possible. That's satire, by the way, which means DMCA is not possible. I don't know. Not everybody feels the same way, obviously. Help. Yeah, I've kind of, just kind of stopped listening to new music. I maintain the most recent album I listened to is still, and by recent I mean when it came out, not when I listened to it, because the most recent album I listened to is Steely Dan's 1977 album, Asia. When all my dying dancing is through. Why shoot him? Why shoot him? Just wait for him. You got invincibility. Paris. Oh my god, brother, please. I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed by that one. This is why I didn't want to take any other items from the Deals with the Devil. I was scared. But the most recent album I listened to is still To Pimp a Butterfly. And don't get me wrong, it's a transcendental album. Legitimately one of my favorite albums of all time. But the whole time I've been, I listened to it, was I ever like, man, I might have been missing out on more like this? I was like, nah, you know, one more Infinity Stone. Now I got the Hip Hop Stone to add to my Infinity Gauntlet. To be fair, I've previously had the Hip Hop Stone. I've just, you know, not replaced it, but refactored it. You know, Illmatic has been the Hip Hop Stone. Really, that would, I mean, Liquid Swords, I got a real soft spot for Liquid Swords, but... And then you got, you know, like the classic rock stone. What is the classic rock stone in the Infinity Gauntlet? I mean, that's a tough one, honestly. Boston self-titled is pretty great. The indie pop stone, Bell and Sebastian's If You're Feeling Sinister. The Canadian Stone. Arcade Fire Funeral. I don't like this curse. I'm just gonna say it. If you got a problem with that, you can leave, okay? I do like Proptosis. That seems to be pretty solid. And this run is gonna be EZ. Now that's how we say it up here. EZ. Alright. Dude, it's really... This is a hard run to keep in perspective that, like, we very, very nearly died. We were, like... We weren't a hit away from death. We were, like, mere millimeters away from death. Like, on-screen millimeters. Away from having a 2 streak. Ugh. Ugh. Sorry. I'm eating! That's not even what I sound like when I throw up. I'm not even crying. I don't know what that joke is even supposed to mean, but it was a little switcheroo is the punchline. Don't blow up in my face, you big disgrace. Oh, hey. Did you see the squeeze? The squeeze of the century? I'm having fun again. There we go. Look, the last 2 episodes have not been bad. But there, you know, we were in a little bit of a holding pattern when we got things reestablished. Whereas now I'm like, oh baby, we can play with it again. Play with your food. Okay, put me in here. Just press the space bar. And we can take this one to Funky Town. It's already over. That's 3 wins in a row. You know what they say? And by they, I mean me. The most important run is the one you just won, or the one you're on. So, despite being easy and also hard in equal measure, I'll take it. For now, thanks for watching. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button. It helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. But for now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. See ya!